Oh, by the way, I did a video 2 videos ago. What is sales and are you a salesperson? I encourage you to watch that video because I go deeper into a salesperson. Now, what's the difference between a salesperson and a closer? Here's what a closer is, and here's what a closer does. I call it the TAR, T-A-R. But before we get into the TAR, I just want to let you know that a closer is always in the grind. A closer produces sales. A closer solidifies the relationship. A closer never loses focus in the selling process to what the end game is. They just don't. And I'm going to explain to you how they do that. There's 3 characteristics, or 3 major characteristics. There's a lot of characteristics of a closer. But here's the thing. The salesperson or the selling is a mindset. The closing or the closer is an attitude. And here's what I mean by that. TAR, the first letter, T, stands for transition. A closer knows and understands that there's always transitions throughout the whole selling process. From the minute you say hello to when you say goodbye and you get the order, there's transitions throughout the whole selling process. For example, when I cold call, there's 3 parts to my cold call. The opening, the body, and the close of the sale. Period. So I transition from the opening to the body, which is the storytelling, is still the salesperson mindset, and then to the close, which is fulfilling the emotion, fulfilling the climax. So a closer understands transition. Even when you get a question asked or you get an objection, your rebuttal is a transition. Because you have to address the objection. It may not even be a valid objection. It may just be a way for them to throw you off track. Or to get you to say something wrong so they can hang up on you. You have to understand, a closer understands that. So you have to know how to transition from being a salesperson, getting people excited and emotional, and over talking the sale and making it about you. You have to transition into making it about the prospect, even though you have to sell you. Does that make sense? You got to get in transition that the client or the prospect knows they need what you're offering. But you have to get them to want it. You have to get them to take ownership. That is the transition. How do you do a transition? Well, if you have a prospect, what I do, let's say I have a very methodical, analytical, non-emotional prospect, but during the selling process, I know at a certain time, at a certain point, I have to get them emotionally involved in it. Because people buy 1 or 2 ways. They either need something or they want. So I got to get them to want this because they need it. But they're very analytical, very methodical, non-emotional. I have to get them emotional. I have to get them excited. So I have to transition that. Does that make sense? That's what a closer does. A closer plays chess. The prospect plays checkers. Now, what else does a closer do? What else do they work through the whole selling process? What other characteristics do they have? They understand adjustments throughout the whole selling process. What do I mean by adjustments? You have to know the personality, the attitude, how they speak to you, their attitude towards you. You have to adjust to all of that. You have to know if they're BSing you or they have a legitimate question. You have to know if it's a buying question or is it an objection or is it a way that they're trying to waste your time and get you off the phone. But you have to do that skillfully without insulting them, but still being strong. You see, a closer is always in the grind. They know that's where the value is. They know when they get that deal, they've earned it. They've earned that relationship because a real closer is about relationships. Because relationship is where you make money. You don't make money with broke relationships, right? So a closer understands adjustments throughout the whole selling process. Okay. Now, the R is for resistance. What do I mean by resistance? I'm going to give you an analogy. It's a stock terminology that I use all the time. You have two tracks. You have the top track, which is called the resistance, and then the bottom track is called the support. So what happens is the prospect knows they want to do this. They know they need to buy this product. They know they need this service because it's going to help their business. But their pride, their ego, whatever it may be, is resisting it. They don't want to do it. They're scared to do it. So they come up with, I call weak excuses or weak reasoning why they don't want to do it. So I have to know how to get through that resistance. How do I get through that? How does real closers do? One, they anticipate it, they adjust to that, and then they push. You have to push through that. You can't be afraid to push. Salespeople that tell good stories and don't understand how to close, they're afraid to ask or demand the order because they became too friendly with the prospect. And I'm not saying don't be friendly with them or get them to like you, because at the end, they have to trust you, they have to respect you, and they have to see value in you. Why else would they want to do business with you? They have to know that you are the man for them. You are the person that's going to help their business, right? But you got to push through that. Now, let me tell you something. Successful people don't mind being pushed. They test you sometimes to see if you're strong, if you're going to stick to what you're good at. You're going to follow through on that. There's nothing wrong with pushing.